In the wild, mysterious depths of Brittany, France, sits an old abandoned shack. Surrounded by ancient oaks and home to all manner of forest dwellers, it is here that we meet to share our stories. So pull up a seat, swing that light, grab your favourite beverage as we share another tantalising tale in the Freakin Shack.
Hello, listeners, and welcome back to the Freakin Shack. And we're wishing you all a very, very happy new year.
Happy New Year, everyone. I should have a little
Yeah, I haven't got
whistle.
one of those.
No, I haven't got
let's
one.
face it, I tried really hard with my background on its own, let alone have extra props.
We have both tried much more. I've still got my star and my Happy Christmas here, so I hope you had happy whatever. But
Very happy, whatever.
happy whatever. But I did. We did try and make a little change for New Year. We have actually recorded. This recording is immediately after the Christmas recording that we've just done.
Yeah.
So we made a bit more effort with this
even
one.
close to Christmas right now. We're just we're binge recording and therefore having to make ourselves look festive when we're not ready to be festive. Sorry.
We're getting there. We are getting there.
We're in the build up.
Yeah.
But I'm it's snowing where I am. In my head.
Just in your head.
In my head.
Thank goodness for that. I don't need any snow at the minute.
No. Well,
I have a Baileys.
What have you got? Baileys. I've got a red wine. I've got cobblers in honour of our last episode. I say
nice.
Cobblers. I call it cobblers.
Cobblers. Cobblers to you too.
I call it cobblers. It's not what it's called. I'm sorry. Coblier.
I think we're going to be giggling by the end of this because I've hardly eaten anything today and I'm now on my big glass of Baileys.
I have to admit the same, but I also had my advent calendar drink earlier
for Christmas episode.
Great glass of wine. So it's going to be fine. I'm just going to be a bit rosy. I'll have to take my red filter off just to kind of wash me out a little bit.
That's all right. It's still the 12 days of Christmas, so
yeah,
we're fine. You're allowed to. You're allowed to look.
I could go a bit Smurf.
Yeah, you're allowed to look a bit like a berry of holly or something.
Yeah.
Holly berry, even.
A holly berry. It's like Halle Berry, but no, it's very different. It's a very different look that I'm afraid I cannot achieve.
Yeah.
Ah, dear. Anyway.
Well, we do hope you're having a lovely festive season.
Do.
And that things are going well for you.
Because they're certainly not going well at the beginning of our podcast. Not because of the podcast, I mean because of the story we're going to talk about.
No, the story is really sad.
It's a very sad story.
It's a very sad story, but it's very poignant for New Year.
It is.
And as far as I know, not exactly a fairy story, is it?
No, this one is much more recent. This one is a Hans Christian Andersen.
Yeah.
Hans Christian Andersen special.
But poignant to the new year.
It is, as it is set on New Year's Eve.
Lovely. But before that, have you made any New Year's resolutions?
Have I, Elle? No, because I'm brilliant the way I am. No.
We're perfect.
We're perfect in every way. Yeah.
Yeah.
Have I made any? No. But I do have plans. So every year, it seems, this has not been intentional, but every year there seems to be my next big bloody challenge because I can't not jump in with both bloody feet, it seems. So today I had a conversation with a university about going back to university to do my veterinary nursing qualification. And at my entire 41 years, they are still happy to have me. So I am having a phone call with them tomorrow to go through all of the ins and outs of how the bloody hell I do this and how I fund it and what do I do? Because I don't know if I can do the course whilst working at the same time or if I have to just do the course, and in which case I need to sort out funding of how I do that. And yeah, so it's all in the plans for next year. About, I don't even know when it starts. It could be a September start. It might not be. I don't know. So
Okay.
it's just my next big, here you go, Steph, shove yourself into something else. Because not only is it a veterinary nursing course, not only am I going back to university as a dyslexic person, but I'm also doing it all in French because I don't have enough challenges in my life. And yeah, so Steph dropping herself well and truly in the shit.
Yeah.
In a whole
Again.
new way. Again. But the
There's-
bloke on the phone told me I spoke really good French and he was really proud of me. So he was very nice.
I have, no, it's gone. Gone.
You were going to talk
I
about
was
your
going to ask
resolution?
you. No, I was going to ask you something then, and it's gone.
Nope.
Oh,
gone.
no, I wasn't. I was going to say something. I was going to say the only one good thing is a lot of medical terms
Yes. Are taken from the Latin and therefore
are taken from Latin, and
usually
they
the
are the same in English as they are in
yes.
French.
Yes.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's not so much of the problem.
Yeah. Except of course you're dealing with paws and hooves and
exactly.
And not hands and feet.
No. But it wouldn't be the first time that I've said, foot instead of paw or,
Yeah. Put your foot in it.
Put your foot in it. As far as, I mean, there's no surprise there, is there?
No. So,
Steph,
New
put
Year's
her foot in it
resolution.
again.
I want to ask Mort. Mort, what's your New Year's resolution?
Have you even got one?
Yeah. My New Year's resolution is the same every year. Haunt responsibly, but I give up by February.
What year did we adopt? What year? What month did we adopt Mort? Because I feel like he'd given up already with the haunting responsibly thing.
Well, he'd given up. He'd given up in February. If he made he'd already given up in February, and I think he was adopted in the summer, if you remember.
Yeah, I think it was. Yeah.
Yeah.
Been a
So
long time.
he'd definitely given up by then, and he's not been any better since.
No. No, but it's okay because we like a good spirit in our life.
Yes, we do. We do like a nice spirit. We've got some nice spirits here. So
Well, mine's
cheers.
not a spirit, mine's a wine, but
Yeah, it'll do. It's
It'll
alcohol.
do.
That's
I like a bit of wine in as well.
bit of wine.
Yeah,
Bit of wine and my spirits.
absolutely.
Nom, nom, nom.
Anywho, do you want to just get a bit somber for a minute?
Let's dive ourselves into this tragic little story
tale.
for New Year's Eve.
Yeah, I'm going to start with the story. Okay,
Okay.
we're going to start with the story and then we're going to just talk about it. So it was so terribly cold. Snow was falling and it was almost dark. Evening came on, the last evening of the year. In the cold and gloom, a poor little girl, bareheaded and barefoot, was walking through the street. Of course, when she had left the house, she had slippers on. But what good had they been? They were very big slippers, way too big for her, as they belonged to her mother. The little girl had lost them running across the road where two carriages had rattled by so terribly fast. One slipper she'd not been able to find again, and a boy had run off with the other, saying that he could use it very well as a cradle someday when he had children of his own. Because that's what you do. And so the little girl walked on her naked feet, which were quite red and blue with cold. In an old apron, she carried several packets of matches, and she held a box of them in her hand. No one had bought any from her all day long, and no one had given her a cent. Shivering with cold and hunger, she crept along, a picture of misery, poor little girl. The snowflakes fell on her long, fair hair, which hung in pretty curls over her neck. In all the windows, lights were shining, and there was a wonderful smell of roast goose, for it was New Year's Eve. Yes, she thought of that. In a corner formed by two houses, one of which projected further out into the street than the other, she sat down and drew up her little feet under her. She was getting colder and colder, but did not dare to go home, for she had sold no matches, nor earned a single cent, and her father would surely beat her. Besides, it was cold at home, for they had nothing over them but a roof, through which the wind whistled even through the biggest cracks that had been stuffed with straw and rags. Her hands were almost dead with cold. How much one little match might warm her, if she could only take one from the box and rub it against the wall and warm her hands. She drew out one match. Ratch! How it spluttered and burned. It made a warm, bright flame, like a little candle. As she held her hands over it, it gave a strange light. It really seemed to the little girl as if she was sitting before a giant iron stove with shining brass knobs and a brass cover. How wonderfully the fire burned, how comfortable it was. The youngster stretched out her feet to warm them too. But the little flame went out, the stove vanished, and she had only the remains of the burnt match in her hand. She struck another match against the wall. It burned brightly, and when the light fell upon the wall, it became transparent, like a thin veil, and she could see through into a room. On the table, a snow-white cloth was spread, and on it stood a shining dinner service. The roast goose steamed gloriously, stuffed with apples and prunes. And what was still better, the goose jumped down from the dish and waddled along the floor with knife and fork in its breast, right over to the little girl when the match went out, as she could see only the thick, cold wall she lighted the match on. She lighted another match. Then she was sitting under the most beautiful Christmas tree. It was much larger, much more beautiful than the one she had seen last Christmas through the glass door at the rich merchant's home. Thousands of candles burned on the green branches and coloured pictures like those on the print shop looked down at her. The little girl reached both her hands towards them. Then the match went out, but the Christmas lights mounted her. She saw them now as bright stars in the sky. One of them fell down, forming a long line of fire. Now someone is dying, thought the little girl, for her old grandmother, the only person who had ever loved her, and who was now dead, had told her that when a star falls down, a soul goes up to God. She rubbed another match against the wall. It became bright again. And in the glow, the old grandmother stood clear and shining, kind and lovely. "Grandmother," cried the child, "take me with you. I know you will disappear when the match is burned out. You will vanish like the warm stove, like the warm roast goose, and the beautiful big Christmas tree." And she quickly struck the whole bundle of matches, for she wished to keep her grandmother with her. And the matches burned with such a glow that it became brighter than daylight. Grandmother had never been so grand and beautiful. She took the little girl in her arms, and both of them flew in brightness and joy above the earth, very, very high, and up there was neither cold, nor hunger, nor fear. They were with God. But in the corner, leaning against the wall, sat the little girl with red cheeks and a smiling mouth. Frozen to death on the last evening of the old year. The New Year's sun rose upon the little pathetic figure. The child sat there, stiff and cold, holding the matches, of which one bundle was almost burned. She wanted to warm herself, the people said. No one imagined what beautiful things she had seen, and how happy she had gone with her old grandmother into the bright new year. And that is the story of the little match girl.
Yeah, it's really sad.
It is very sad.
I can still remember reading it as a kid. That was probably a very similar age to the actual Match Girl. And the picture book that I had was beautiful because it showed all the pictures of what she could see as basically as she was dying, obviously. But the pictures that she could see and the fact that she ended up going with her grandmother, obviously.
Yeah. I didn't know this story very well at all. I'd heard about it, I think, when I was little. But I don't think I really knew it very well.
No, it was a story that I had in a storybook. It was this one. There was another one about a tin soldier or something was in it. It was obviously all, I'm assuming, Hans Christian Andersen stories of the little match girl, the tin soldier. There was a couple of others as well.
The writing of this, let me just skip. So Hans Christian Andersen wrote this tale at the behest of publishers who approached Andersen with some woodcuts by an illustrator, John Thomas Lundby. Probably butchered it, sorry. So there was some woodcuts that were illustrations, right? And he had to pick one and write a story. Andersen found the image of a melancholy girl barefooted and wandering a cobbled street to be the most intriguing, and is quoted as stating, and I quote, "While I was at a manor in Denmark," Andersen recalled in his later diaries, "in this time of luxury and plenty, a publisher sent 3 woodcuts asking me to pick one and write a little story around it. I chose a scene that depicted poverty and deprivation. A ragged little girl with a handful of matches, the little match girl. The contrast between our life at Augsburg and her world." That's what he said. It is also worth noting, to just cover a little bit of history here, match girls were some of the poorest workers in the Western Victorian world, working horrendously long hours for little pay in poisonous and oppressive conditions with no protections or rights. Match sellers, on the other hand, so the match sellers were somewhat lower even than the matchmakers. It could be said that the match sellers were at the very bottom of what is called the sweated labour industries. These were works that happened away from the factories. So they weren't doing this from a workplace. They were doing this from home. Away from the factories where modern factory labour laws applied and were increasingly granted the workers improved rights, such things as wire brushes, cardboard boxes, sewing works, and matchbox making were all part of the sweated industries. Devoid of rights, those who worked in these roles often did so for longer hours and even less money. Match sellers were usually made up of the elderly and infirm, more increasingly of children, who were little more than toddlers themselves. Match sellers took up their trade for a number of reasons, all of which boiled down to one single thing: survival. We did some research here. Rich said perhaps the man of the house had died, or had lost a limb in an accident, or was unable to earn. Perhaps they suffered from illness, an addiction. Maybe selling on the streets was the only way to placate a violent individual at home, which is where the story talks about the father. Whatever the reason, no one chooses this line of work voluntarily. And especially for the girls as well. Boys were more favoured for manual jobs, even when young. So it was more common to see little girls on the streets selling any number of small items, among them matches. Matches were in constant demand at the time for lighting stoves, lamps, pipes, cigarettes. They were light and could be bought in bulk at relatively low cost. In some few cases, a person might be able to go directly to the factories to buy these. so-called wasters or factory seconds were popular as they cost less for their imperfections. Mostly, though, a child would have to go to a dealer buying at an increased price and therefore selling at less of a profit. I mean, just horrible to put yourself in that sort of situation where you're in order to get anything, you're having to spend out money to get the merchandise to then be able to sell it and hope to sell it to get the profits.
Yeah. But anything, I think it just highlights the what they call paupers in those days who had nothing. I mean, they had nothing. Their houses were, well, like she explained, you know, there was no covers on the bed. You're lucky if you even had a bed.
Yeah. Yeah.
Normally it might have been a pile of clothes or old blankets or something that was thrown in the corner.
Yeah.
These people didn't have anything.
The interesting thing is that it's not just the winters that would be problematic, because even the summers, you know, stifling summer heat.
Yeah.
Or frozen winters.
And no toileting or bathroom facilities.
No.
These people were lucky if they had one outside toilet, which was shared by I don't know how many houses at the time.
You also need to think of the risk of like abduction and things like that. A little child out on the streets on their own.
Yep.
You know, just so many dangers, so many risks. Or simply like the little match girl, simply succumbing to the elements.
Yeah.
You know, starving.
Yeah, starving, freezing cold.
Yeah.
And just dying on the streets.
You know, she's obviously, I'm going to say, a tough old bird, you know. She's out there doing the thing. But it's a sad tale when the more appealing alternative to going home is freezing to death in the streets.
But then if you look at today's issues and you get the children that run away from home because they feel safer on the streets than they do in the house.
Absolutely. The tale itself is often cited to have a message. That message being potentially a number of things, but to be thankful for no matter how little you have. Someone always has less than you. To be kind to those less fortunate than yourself, and perhaps, you know, more harshly, life isn't fair.
Yeah.
And I think that's, I'm not sure how much I agree with the life isn't fair. I think society is extremely unfair in that situation, in life. They say life isn't fair, but actually life can sometimes be fairer. Society is often more unfair.
Yeah.
And that's almost worse.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, looking at, I know there are, I don't know how many people must be out there at the minute who are struggling to make ends meet, who are struggling to keep warm at this time of year, who are struggling to have enough, you know, do you heat the home and keep yourself somewhat warm, or do you eat? Do you heat or eat?
It's when you have to choose. Yeah.
And those choices. And I was watching a lot of, when you think America is one of the
wealthiest countries.
One of the wealthiest countries in the world.
Yeah.
And yet,
if not the wealthiest country, not 100% sure on that, but.
And yet they were, the TikToks that I was watching, obviously I watched one and then loads more came up as it happens. Funny old thing that.
Yeah.
But the amount of people that are just setting up who are managing, and even they aren't the richest people.
Yeah.
But the other
but
people who are managed, but they're setting up little food banks in their own communities.
there was a guy that I follow, and he's been raising money to buy as many of the, is it Aldi or Lidl's that are doing the meal packs for it's $40 or something. It will feed 10 people or something like that. And he's using all the money from his account that he gets through TikTok to buy as many of these as he can to give away to try and feed as many people as possible.
Yeah, yeah.
And there is goodness from this,
Oh,
but unfortunately, so many people
It's-
suffering the same thing.
You look at it and think, why? When I find it hard to watch when you've got programs on the TV that show you the most expensive hotels in the world, and people are staying for thousands and thousands of dollars a night for one night. And I think to myself, how many wheelchairs would that buy? How many people could that save? How many
Yeah.
people could get off the streets with that money? And it's
Yeah.
frivolously being spent on one hotel. And I know it keeps the people in the hotels in jobs.
Well, sure, but it's really not necessary for.
I can't watch it. I cannot watch what I consider to be a total waste of money. Frivolously throwing money around.
The thing that also bothers me is that a lot of this type of stuff, these hotels are quite often frequented by the wealthy, right? We're not talking about that family that have saved for the last 5 years to afford the Disney holiday that they have gone all out on, right?
Absolutely.
No, you do that. Good on you. I hope you enjoy it.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's no shame in saving up and affording your holiday and going on that holiday. Do it. But these people that have more bloody money than sense, who instead of going, do you know what, I think I'll set up a charity, or I'll set up a thing that won't make any money, but it won't lose any money. It will make money for itself, and that'll be it. But it might actually bloody help some people, or shock horror if they. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, why not just be a human? Just be human.
And there are a lot of wealthy celebrities, if you like. I hate that word, really, but there are a lot of wealthy celebrities who do this, who do set up foundations, who do set up charities and make payments to charity, and I can't do anything but thank them for the work that they do.
Well, some of the notes that I've taken here is that I think that the story is a definite reflection of the great polarity of wealth.
Yes.
At the time, it's a good reflection, obviously, of what it was like at the time, but perhaps it should be considered a cautionary tale now, a warning to of the state of things, essentially, to come as well.
Yeah.
Given the current economic depravity we're increasingly seeing all around us. In the tale, we're not told the girl's name, because she's invisible. Just another of the wretches. Do you know what I mean? We don't even know this little girl's name.
No.
Someone we choose to ignore, because to acknowledge them would mean to acknowledge our own fears.
And how many times?
Sorry,
go on. I was just going to say, how often do we do that ourselves when there's homeless people, and we won't
sorry to say this, but using the example of the US where they're making homelessness illegal, I cannot even fathom the insanity of that. Like, oh, I'm sorry. Sorry, I'll just pluck the house out of my ass that I was storing for later. Like, what do you want him to do? Crazy, just crazy.
I know. I know. This world is just mad. We've got we've got that much money in this world that no person needs to go hungry or cold or anything.
Yeah.
But
Absolutely appalling. It is a well-known fact that Christian Andersen's own mother suffered similar struggles as the little match girl. As a child, she was regularly sent out to beg for money or food by her mother and threatened with beatings if she returned home empty-handed. In later life, her husband and Christian's father returned from the Napoleonic Wars, a broken man, and died shortly afterwards, leaving Andersen's mother to become a washerwoman in order to support them. As anyone who had to manually wash even their own clothes for any period of time, it is grueling and thankless work. It is one thing that we've always said, because we've talked about going off grid with electricity, and we have said that we need to have enough electricity to run the fridge freezer, because it's necessary for storing your food, and a washing machine, because both of us have had to wash clothes by hand. It is not an enjoyable task.
Yeah.
And I have to admit, my other half used to do it in outdoor water, in cold icy water. My life. No. And given the state of my wrists, with the metal in my wrists, no, I can't even bring myself to put my hands into a bowl of cold water like that. No. So, yeah, it's looking at the realities behind that story, that it's not just a story, but I think it really does send quite an important message about people being invisible when, you know, it's heartbreaking, really.
Yeah. I mean,
really is.
It's wonderful to hear the heartwarming stories that do come from this, and the fact that not everybody ignores. There are a lot of people who rally around together, certainly like close communities who rally around and make sure. I do know that in our old hometown that there was a homeless person was seen in the town. It's unusual. It's not often seen there. And everybody rallied around to make sure that he was okay. He had some shelter. They made sure that they found somewhere for him while he was staying in the area. They don't always stay. They move along. But they, people brought him food. People brought him clothing. People bought him things that he needed so that he could manage. And it was a community effort, and it was done through like a community group on Facebook or something like that, where someone said, "Oh, heads up, there's somebody in so and so," and that was it. And there was people coming, to help. I think eventually they managed to get him over to a bigger town where there was actually a proper organisation that helped the homeless to start to find them somewhere to stay and live.
And it's also getting them, it's also important when they stay and try to be around the larger cities and things like that, because there's a better chance for work. There's better connections to transportation. You know, it's, and yet then they say, "Oh no, we can't be here."
Yeah.
Well, what else? Where else are they going to go?
Where else are they going to go? They're just constantly moving all the time, and
the opportunity is just constantly taken away. Because they've got no address, and therefore they can't get their IDs, or they can't get a job because they've got no address. And so, it's just a vicious circle that never ends.
Yeah.
It's really, really sad. Another note on the match girls, because essentially without them there would be no matches. There would be no matches, and therefore no reason for this podcast after all. But the match girls hold a stupendously important role in our society even today. As we've mentioned already, the match girls had it bad. Long hours in poor conditions, constant exposure to chemicals that when
Yes.
inhaled would slowly dissolve your jaw until you were left with none.
Yeah.
And
But,
some of the x-rays,
Yeah.
all I will say is it was called phossy jaw. Phosphorus fumes caused osteonecrosis.
Oh, right. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, of the jaw, roughly 20% mortality rate. I
Hmm.
will say, don't go looking for photos unless you have a strong stomach.
Yeah.
Just don't do it. Fines were also given to them for their work being produced too late or having messy work area.
Yeah. But this
For
is it. There
damages,
was.
accidents, all sorts of things.
This is why certain protections were brought in for workers. Unions were formed and this sort of thing.
That was exactly
Safety
what
at
I was
work.
going on to. Yeah. So
and you can see.
Sorry.
No, go on.
In the later part of the 1800s, people's views were beginning to change. There was a greater interest in the rights for workers such as these, and investigative journalists were beginning to find out the truth lurking behind closed doors of the factories. In July 1888, the women and girls of the Byron and May match factory in Bow, London, where the Bell is, went on strike. They were protesting the dismissal of a co-worker after they'd refused the boss's demands to reject the claims of an article on the terrible working conditions at the factory. When management promised to rehire the worker, they kept up their action to demand a stop to the unfair fines and deductions from their wages and for improvements to their working conditions. The social activist Annie Besant, I think it's Besant, and Herbert Burroughs lent themselves to the cause, and led by Sarah Chapman, they were successful. Following this, in the latter part of the year, the Union of Women Matchmakers, later the Matchmakers Union, was formed, creating the largest union of women and girls in England and inspiring a wave of collective organizations amongst industrial workers.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. Yeah. And that is the power of the people in the end, isn't it? It's the people coming together and saying, no, we're not putting up with this anymore.
Absolutely. And it was only a few years later that the Salvation Army opened its own factory, offering higher wages and no use of white phosphorus. They replaced it with a much safer red phosphorus, although both the Salvation Army and Byron and May had problems competing against the factories who were still using the white phosphorus. The House of Commons voted to pass a bill to prohibit the use of white phosphorus in 1908. Thomas Archer, Little Folks, 1883. The Match Seller was also a story that was mentioned that links with this as well.
Yeah.
Some Little Ones of the Street. The Match Seller is the story.
Yeah.
I do actually have a copy of that here, but it's really long and we're not going to go through that right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, just absolutely horrific conditions that eventually did start to change, but only because people put their damn foot down and said no. And that's what we need to do, is we need to put our bloody foot down and say, no, enough's enough.
Yeah.
That's what I'm really hoping will happen for the US as well, because as much as I know that the same struggles appear for us all, trying to make ends meet, especially with large energy companies putting their prices up further and further and further, it pushes that boundary. I mean, let's face it, we're all 1-2 paychecks away from being homeless. You know, in reality, if that money was just to stop, how long would you have, being able to make ends meet? So it's a real concern for 98% of us. It's a massive concern. And yes, there's the 1% of billionaires, and I'm suspecting 1% of fairly rich people that could probably survive longer. But at the end of it, it's a real concern for everybody. And, you know, yeah, it's just not nice.
The troubles of the world. It's, I was going to say, let's move on to something more cheerful, but this, this is a spooky ghost story. I thought we could end the year on something close to our heart with a modern spooky, scary story. It's not real. It's not real. It's fictional. And we'll see how it comes across. I might add some special effects to it afterwards in editing. But here you're hearing it crisp and clean. It's called the Oak Ridge Oracle, or in brackets, a proper cock-up. Oh, excuse me. Here we go.
Oh, swing that light.
Swing the light. The Spectral Seekers were streaming their New Year special from the grim Oak Ridge Sanitarium boiler room. The whole operation was a desperate bid for views, fueled by terrible Wi-Fi and even worse life choices. Liam, the presenter, was wearing a ridiculous, bright orange bobble hat. His camera's TikTok live stream overlay was an aggressively tacky neon green.
Right, you lot. Happy New Year's Eve, or whatever passes for it in this place,
Liam announced to 20,000 viewers.
Sync squad, let's get a jump scare for the algorithm, shall we?
Maya, the medium, looked terrified.
The atmosphere, Liam, is dreadful. It smells of old drains and existential despair.
Maya, that's just the boiler room, love,
Liam muttered. Suddenly, a single light bulb above them decided to chuck a wobble and began to flicker like a strobe light having a nervous breakdown. Finn, one of the cameramen, grumbled, "Can someone ring an electrician? This is giving me a migraine." Reese's camera caught something bizarre on a greasy pipe. A solitary, perfectly ripe orange.
The ghost of a healthy snack, then,
Liam joked, adjusting his hat. Maya looked pale.
It's a calling card. Like an offering, something juvenile.
A sound, reedy, thin, profoundly unpleasant, squelched from the spirit box. It was a child's voice, terribly off-key, singing a distorted version of the nursery rhyme.
Sing a ring, a rosy pocket full of posy.
The light settled into a slow, agonising and the voice returned, louder and with a distinct mocking sneer.
A tissue. A tissue. We all fall down, except for the one in green. He's going for a spin.
A horrible icy dread filled the room. The last thing the stream showed was a flash of vibrant green across the lens. Liam's camera went black. The only remaining sign of him was the bright orange hat sitting forlornly on the floor next to a spreading puddle of strangely thick green liquid. 5 minutes later, Finn and Reese stood shivering, their phones lighting up with frantic messages. Maya was curled against a wall, making small whimpering noises, and Liam's microphone lay abandoned, still picking up the steady, ominous drip of condensation.
He's gone, hasn't he?
Reese whispered, his voice cracking.
He was right there, and then just that green slop and the hat. Don't be daft, Reese. Ghosts don't consume people,
Finn replied, though he looked green himself.
He's probably played a prank and legged it. It's just a big show-off. He's just forgotten his hat.
Maya slowly lifted her head. That wasn't a prank, Finn. The orange. The rhyme. They took. The green ghost. A new terrible sound echoed from the adjacent boiler. A low, metallic like something large and heavy was being slowly churned inside the rusty mechanism.
Right, enough,
Finn said decisively.
We need to call the police and maybe an actual priest, just in case. And before we do anything, we need to pull the memory cards. We need proof. Or no one's going to believe this tragic, low-budget nonsense.
Reese swallowed hard, staring at the small, perfect orange still perched on the pipe.
What do we tell the coppers? Sorry, officer, our mate Liam vanished into a boiler because a Victorian nursery rhyme ghost didn't like his orange hat. We tell them the truth, mate,
Finn sighed, already gathering the expensive camera gear.
We tell them we were filming, the lights went mental, and a ghost, presumably upset by the terrible production values, decided to make a gruesome statement. It's either that or they nick us for wasting police time.
He glanced back at the boiler where the strange rhythmic thunking was now slightly louder.
Come on, before the thing gets peckish for the second guy.
And that's the end of the story. The moral of the story is, prepare yourself if you're doing a live ghost hunt in a boiler room, in a sanitarium.
In a dodgy hat.
In a dodgy hat, orange hat, and someone starts singing a nursery rhyme. Get the hell out of there.
Get the hell out of there. Yeah. Yeah, time to go.
Yeah, time to go.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure that I'm
Oh,
ready
dear.
for that. But yeah. Woof.
Yeah. But we do love our bit of live ghost stories, don't we?
We do.
Ghost hauntings we like to watch. I was watching Ghost Theory the other day. I have put a link before. I might have to try and find a link again. I was watching Ghost Theory the other day, and they were in this building. It was brilliant. It was a really good episode. But the times that they get interrupted while they're doing their ghost hunt by other ghost hunters coming in or other urban explorers coming in, and right at the very end of this, as they'd done what they were doing, they thought somebody else was in the house, but it didn't appear to be in the end. And they ended up going right up the other end of the house, and they decided that was about it. They'd finished. And all of a sudden they heard like a car outside, and they heard something else of somebody climbing in through the window or through the door that they climbed in through. And they were like looking at each other, and he was like, no, it really is. It's another group. It's a group of people come in. And you could hear them talking, and they're chatting away, and these two are hiding in one of the rooms.
It's like, but who's going to think? Like, because at the beginning they thought the other people were like the ghosts. And
Yeah.
now it's going to like switch. Because
Yeah.
now the people who have entered are going to think they're the ghosts.
Yeah.
It's like this
And-
big reality version of The Others.
Yeah, it is. So they're talking to each other, and he's like, what are we going to do? And then one of the chaps suddenly goes, hello. This group down the end completely lost it and belted out of the door straight
Oh,
away. It
brilliant.
didn't hang around. I think he did it twice. That was it. And that was it. They were gone. They were gone.
That's hilarious.
And then one of the lads turned around and he just laughed and he went, "Oh God," he said, "I feel really bad now."
Funny, but wrong.
Yeah, really funny. But now I feel bad because
Now I feel
only
bad. Yeah.
they're only doing what we're doing, really.
Oh, bless them.
But they weren't hanging around to find out. They weren't going to make any sort of investigation into it. They weren't even going to answer back. Whereas if it had been me, I'd have gone, "Hello, who's there?
Oh, yeah. Oh, brilliant.
Are you coming to speak to us?" We could have had a conversation. But no, they just ran. Got out
Just
of the
get
place.
out. Just get out.
Yeah. And then he just looked in the camera and he went, "Oh God, I feel really bad now."
Yeah. I didn't actually mean that. Yeah. Fair.
Dear. So there can be a bit of a laugh with these ghost hunting things that
You
go live.
can't do nothing else. You gotta laugh.
Gotta laugh. You gotta
At
laugh.
something.
Whatever. So it's been a really, really depressing event tonight. Really, everyone
It's
else
all right.
is.
It's all right.
Everyone else is doing Old Lang Syne and all this sort of thing.
Yeah, we're a bit doom and gloom, but we're not.
No, we're definitely not.
Because the world, I'm just saying, right? The world is full of kind people.
It is.
And if you can't find one, be one.
Yeah. I love it.
Just saying.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I found a little quote, actually. Hang on a minute, because... hang on a minute. I can't find it now, because I found the quote, but I can't find who it's by. And it's really sad, because I want to use
another
it.
a sad quote?
No, it's not. It's a great quote. And the quote is, "What the new year brings to you will depend a great deal on what you bring to the new year."
Yes.
And you can only get out what you put in.
Yeah. I've always said that. If you want to see change, be the change you want to be or you want to see.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, be that change. And then people around you will change. It's amazing. You can't change anybody. You can only change yourself. And sometimes by changing yourself, you change an awful lot around you.
Absolutely. Yeah. I can't find that other I can't find who it was by. I'm sorry. I tried. No, I found some other lovely ones. Be kind, because everyone you meet is fighting a hard battle. That was John Watson. Yeah. But I can't find the other one that I wanted. Oh, wait, I've got it. No, it's so small. I think it says Vern McKellen. Vern? I don't know. I can't see it. It's so small and blurry.
Small and blurry.
But I think it's Vern, and it's either H. I can't read the damn thing. Literally, I'm like staring at it. I'm like, ugh. I can't see it.
Well, while you're doing that, I will come up with these captions for a new year.
Go for it.
It says, inspirational New Year's captions. Let the next adventure begin.
Love it.
There we go. Or, the first day sets the tone for the entire year. I'm not so sure that's so good. Because if tomorrow...
Yeah, because if you have a really shitty start...
Yeah.
So, it sets the bloody tone for this then, doesn't it?
That sets the tone for the whole year. So, no, we won't have that one. But we're scrubbing that one out. New year, new beginnings. It's a bit old hat.
It's done, though, isn't it? It's been done, yeah.
I like this one. 12 new chapters, 365 new chances.
I like that one. That's nice.
Yes. The best time for new beginnings is now. Best time for new beginnings is any time you bloody want, to be honest.
Exactly, right now. Yesterday.
Yeah. Tomorrow. 6:30 on Friday morning. Whatever. I'm going to change this. May your new year sparkle brighter than Mort doing a spectral shimmer.
Love it.
There we go.
Doing his spectral shimmer.
Oh dear.
I have to admit, there are some great ones out there for the new year.
Yes.
Some of them less than others. But, there is one that let me just see if I can find out who said it. Because again, it's given me the world's smallest picture. Why did they do
Dear,
this?
no, not that one. That's definitely not.
Oh no, I don't know. It's Anne or Anna. I don't know. But Anne or Anna says you don't have to be perfect to be amazing, and I agree.
I totally agree. You most definitely. In fact, it's probably best you're not perfect.
Yeah.
Because what is perfect?
What is it? Yeah. What does it mean to be perfect? Because quite honestly, a lot of the things that have taught me the most have been my failures, have been my falls.
It's the best. It's the best way to learn. It's the only way to learn.
There is no failure. There is
only
no
feedback.
failure. Only feedback. It's not always good feedback, but yeah. And I think that's what I'm kind of taking away from this year for me, because I started out this year with quitting my job because it wasn't great, and got another one, and that was great, and I loved that one. Unfortunately, it was temporary, and that was really sad because I didn't want to go. But it's all been this massive learning curve for me this year, of actually putting lesson into practice. And I'm hoping that next year will be another sodding great challenge that I've kicked my own ass into entirely. I keep doing this to myself. Why do I keep doing this? Like last year, it was going into the workplace here in France. The year before that, I started my language course and threw myself into learning French in 2023. No, 2024. Yeah. And then 2025 into the workplace like a crazy person. And slipping and falling and it not being so great. And then finally sort of feeling like I found my feet a little bit, only for that to kind of disappear as well. And then, and now I'm going back to university at 41 and, doing my veterinary nursing qualification, all in French.
Yes.
And yeah, so.
Well, I've got a lovely quote for you.
Go ferret.
You are never too old to set another goal or to dream a new dream.
And I couldn't agree more. Absolutely. And, if I can do it, if I physically can do it, then I will.
And this one, it is never too late to be what you might have been.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
It is. Yeah.
Yeah, kind of like that. Yeah. Cool. Well.
Oh, another one. It always seems impossible until it's done.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I don't think I'm ever going to be done learning French, but it's certainly a lot more possible now than it was.
Yeah.
That's what I'm going with. And I think that's the thing, because sometimes these things that we set our minds to, intentionally or not, aren't always done. It's a work in progress. It's always a work in progress. You're constantly learning, and that's okay. Because you're better at it this time, you're better at it now than you were yesterday, than you were last week, than you were last month, than you were last year.
Yep.
Even if that is just finding a way of picking yourself up, even though you've done it 100 times, well, maybe you're just a bit better practiced at it now.
Absolutely. The more you do something, the more you get better at it. So if you're depressed and you're just
finding things difficult.
Yeah. Just know that if you just spend 2 seconds every day practicing something else.
Yeah.
Otherwise you get
Find something that made you smile. Find something that made you laugh. Something that sparked a little bit of not sad, not depressed.
Yeah.
Even if it's not happy. Doesn't have to be happy. But not falling down the pit. Something.
Because otherwise you get really good at falling down that pit. Because you practice it every day.
It becomes really easy and a very slippery
slope. It is practicing something else. And it says here, laugh as much as you breathe and love as long as you live.
I like that.
There you go.
Yeah. Sometimes these mottos are absolutely shite. And
Yes.
sometimes they actually have something decent to say.
Sometimes you can take them and say, yeah, that might work for me.
Yeah,
Sometimes
yeah.
you'll listen to them and go, nah.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Nah.
The live, laugh, love thing. Now stick it. No. No, that's not me. No.
We can't laugh all the time, but we can decide how we feel about things. We can decide our own
Emotional
What-
wellness.
Yeah. We can decide to walk away. We can decide to say no. And we can decide to make a decision that affects us in a better way. Reach out. Lots and lots of people out there ready for advice. The amount of people I
help.
see
Yeah.
go, groups on Facebook. If you've got a good group with a good lot of people there,
Yeah.
the amount of times I've seen people just getting to the end of their tether and just like, I'm really sorry, guys, but I need some help. Can anyone just... And the amount of people that come on just...
And just, I need to vent. Even just venting.
Yeah, just even venting.
And it's worth, if you are having a conversation with a friend or something like that, if you're the friend that's listening, right, it is always worth clarifying what kind of conversation you're having. Are we having a I just need to vent conversation? Are we having a I need help conversation? Or are we having a feel my pain, I need to connect with somebody else that feels the same way? Because trying to be the right person at the right time for that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean.
To be the good listener is really difficult when somebody doesn't actually want your help. I don't want you to give me advice on this situation. I want you to be angry with me. Oh, okay, great. Let's be angry together.
Let's be angry together.
You know what? And then just gradually bring it down a little bit till it becomes a little bit more manageable.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's just finding out what kind of conversation we're having, because the amount of times that I've gone for, I didn't realize you wanted advice. I thought this was, I will suffer with you. I thought this was feel my pain, and not, oh, wait, you actually want me to tell you what I think. Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
So clarify, what kind of conversation are we having? The amount of times that I've done this with my other half, and it's like, no, I don't want you to fix it. I just want you to be pissed off.
Hear me out.
Hear me vent.
Yeah.
I need to vent. I need you to feel how angry I am, and then I need a hug. That's it. I don't need you to fix it because you can't fix it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I need to get it out.
Be the person.
There
that your
you
friend
go.
needs.
That was therapy with Steph and Trina on New Year's Eve.
Yeah.
A little bit of friendly advice. And if you want to vent in our comments, go ahead.
Come and vent. And just let us know what kind of conversation you need to be. Because we'll be whatever you need.
Yeah. Yeah. So, with that, I would like to say from the two of us on the Freakin Shack, thank you for spending another wonderful story-filled year with us.
First full year.
Yeah. Yeah, it is a first full year because the last time we started in October and then we went through to Christmas. But now it's been a full year right the way around to Christmas again. So Steph will say,
keep your minds open and your lamps lit. And we will see you again next time.
We will, as we step into 2026. Here's to stories, mysteries, and more times spent swinging that flipping light together. Happy New Year, everyone.
Happy New Year.
Bye.
Bye.
By the way, just to let you know, I'm off to sunnier climes and will not be back until at least August 2028.
Please don't believe anything he says. Thanks for hanging out in the shack with us. If you've got a strange story, theory, or even just a spooky question, send it to shackpackinbox@gmail.com because we'd love to hear from you. Follow us to ensure that you never miss an episode of the Freakin Shack, because listening to us is
much cheaper than therapy, and slightly more spooky. Until we meet again next week, Shackbackers, take care.